Another lethal blow against suspected drug traffickers. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth says the United States has conducted another strike in the Caribbean. Hello and welcome to a second hour of Fox News Live. I'm Rich Edson. This is the seventh and latest in a series of drone strikes aimed at boats carrying suspected drugs headed for the United States mainland. Democrats and Republicans have voiced concerns about the administration's aggressive tactics in international waters. Friday, President Trump was asked if Maduro was ready to talk.
He has offered everything. He's offered everything. You're right. You know why? Because he doesn't want to around with the United States.
There you go. Lucas Tomlinson live to West Palm Beach, where the president is spending the weekend at his Mar-a-Lago golf estate before heading back to the White House this evening. Lucas?
Well, good afternoon, Rich. Combat operations continue in the Caribbean by the U.S. military. And just about an hour ago, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth posting the following recently declassified drone footage of a seventh strike against a suspected drug smuggling boat. Hegseth says the boat belonged to a Marxist group in Colombia and Venezuela, known by its Spanish acronym ELM. I believe we have the footage of the strike right here, Rich. The State Department has put this group, known as the National Liberation Army, on its terrorist list since 1997. The terrorist group operates in Colombia and Venezuela and has a history of drug trafficking. Colombia's president just posted that he says this was a fishing boat that got annihilated. Hegseth says the boat was on the U.S. intelligence agency's radar for the past. Drug smuggling is also using a known drug shipping route. It had drugs on board, according to Hegseth. He also said all three men on board were killed. There were no survivors. Hegseth also saying these cartels are the al-Qaeda of the Western Hemisphere, using violence, murder, and terrorism to impose their will, threaten our national security, and poison our people. The United States military will treat these organizations like the terrorists they are. They will be hunted and killed, just like al-Qaeda. Now, earlier on Fox News Sunday, Republican Senator Shelley Moore Capito said she supports these strikes in the Caribbean, but if it goes beyond that, she wants to see Congress more involved.
The president is right to be attacking in terms of the ships that are bringing these deadly substances and killing American citizens daily. And so I support that. Any extension beyond that, I think Congress needs to be a part of that.
Now, not all Republicans feel the same way, and certainly most Democrats. Here's Senator Rand Paul earlier.
You have to accuse them of something. You have to present evidence. So all of these people have been blown up without us knowing their name, without any evidence of a crime. So if our policy now is to blow up every ship we suspect or accuse of drug running, that would be a bizarre world in which 25% of the people might be innocent.
After Israeli forces launched airstrikes in the Gaza Strip earlier after accusing Hamas of violating the ceasefire, President Trump told our own Maria Bartiromo he thinks Hamas will be disarmed.
Well, they promised they would. They said they would. It's down that they would. Now, they said they were gang members, et cetera, you know. But these are very violent people. This is a very violent part of the world. Nobody's seen violence like this. If we have to, we'll disarm
The
them.
U.S.
Well, whether it's me or the U.S. or it's, you know, a proxy, could be Israel, with our backing, we won't have boots on the ground. There's no reason to.
Recall just a few days ago, Rich, President Trump posting on Truth Social that if Hamas continues to kill people, quote, we will have no choice but to go in and kill them. Rich?
Lucas Tomlinson live for us. Lucas, thank you. Let's bring in Michael Allen. He's the former national security official in the Bush administration. Michael, thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
What in the world is going on in Venezuela?
Well, the president is ramping up activity significantly. We saw news this week of a possible covert action program from the Central Intelligence Agency, and we've also seen military buildup across the region. They are setting the theater with all sorts of new firepower. So it may be that the president is considering a 1-2 punch. The CIA in on the ground with air cover from the United States Air Force and others. So this is a hot area, and the president's taking it really, really seriously. In the region, there is a very long history of CIA and regimes, and it's something that is not viewed very well down there, and a history that they remember. Is this something that could rally people behind Maduro? It's possible because of that history of the United States sponsoring all sorts of coups d'etats down there over our history. But I think in this case, the president is more motivated by the fact that he sees the drug cartels like President Bush saw al-Qaeda after September 11th, 2001. The old criminal paradigm is not working. Have to get more aggressive with intelligence and special operations type strikes. And so I think he's trying to introduce to the country and to the world that this is a new way of business and we mean it.
Do you think these strikes have been successful, or is it too early to tell?
It's probably too early to tell. I think it is a great deterrent effect that comes out of striking these 7 boats. They'll be less inclined to do that again, but they're very resourceful. We saw news that they use a submarine, they have overland, they probably have different types of air cargo going northward too. The cartels are not going to give up. They know what they're doing. They're great at logistics and delivery, if you will. So we'll have to stay really on top of this to have a lasting effect.
What do you think changed between the first Trump administration and the second? There was some reporting that perhaps the president backing the opposition in Venezuela, Maduro was still there, that maybe that was a bridge too far. But here it seems like his focus again is on Venezuela.
Yeah, in the first term, I think ultimately we were all disappointed that the embrace of the opposition leader Juan Guaido didn't lead to anything tangible inside of the country. I think the president's probably learned from that lesson and says, I need to get more kinetic. I got to be more forceful if I want to affect a better and broader change across Latin America.
Now, we went down there in 2018 and saw the people coming over from Venezuela on the bridge into Colombia for food, for medicine, for water. I mean, the humanitarian conditions in Venezuela are awful, and you can largely trace it back to the guy who's in charge there. How much can things change if there is a new government there?
I think significantly. It's absolutely abysmal down there. People worry about human rights, but this is basic human dignity, way these people are able to live. And when they can't advance, then that's the type of guys that will eventually join up with drug cartels out of desperation. So I think over time, we've got to just fix this cancer in the hemisphere, and I think over time it'll be a broader salutary effect for the United States.
Yeah, we didn't like Chavez, we got Maduro, and now who could possibly be next? There's always the danger that what comes next isn't better, right?
Sometimes it's worse. And so I think we've got to be really, really careful. By the way, that might be why they have the CIA in there a little bit. We want to be able to work with some networks inside the country, figure out who the future leader might be, maybe support them financially, maybe support them with some weapons. And so that we don't quite know what's going on, but that's part of CIA's playbook.
The president says that Maduro's offered everything. Does that mean that there's no deal to be had here between the U.S. and this current regime there?
It sure sounds like it. I doubt that he's offered what the president really wants, which is for him to step down or to totally get out of the drug trade. I'm sure he's insisting, oh, I'll get out of the drug trade, but I don't think Maduro's trustworthy.
Michael Allen, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.